Hi, my name is Patryk Bandurski, a MuleSoft ambassador. Welcome to a MuleSoft Guru channel. Today's topic is API versioning. So let's get started. In today's agenda, I will talk first about API versioning best practices and possible cases. Then I move to a demo part when I show you application configuration that enables multiple API versions deployed at the same time. And at the end, I will briefly summarize what we have learned today. We version our APIs from scratch. It's recommended practice to use semantic versioning to track the changes we are introducing. As you can see on the slide, the version consists of major, minor, and patch. The major is for backward incompatible changes. It means that the consumer's code can break. The minor is for new functionality that is backward compatible, and the patch, which is dedicated for bug fixes that are as well backward compatible. As you can see, minor and patch parts are always for backward compatible changes. That means that the consumer can safely update the version without any fear that its integration will fail. In the URI, we should put only the major part, which is v1, v2, and so on, instead of the full version like 1.0.0 or 2.0.0. On the next slide, I will briefly explain what options do we have on the CloudHub. Okay, so the question is where to place the API version in the URI. We have two approaches here. We can put it in the base path or in the application name. So let's first start with the base path on the left hand side. As you can see, we have two versions of the same API deployed. The first version is /API/v1/something, and as you can see, it's put in the base path part. The second version has similar URI, it's /API/v2/something. It means that the API version is configured directly in HTTP listener configuration. Apart from this, you may as well notice that our API application name contains a random postfix. You may be wondering why. It's due to the fact that the applications deployed on the CloudHub must be unique. So we cannot deploy two applications. This approach with base path is usually used for cases when only one version is deployed. Let's take a look at the second approach on the right hand side. As you can see, we have here as well two API versions, and the version is appended at the end of the application name, like my project-portal-eapi-v1, and likewise the second version is eAPI. If you take a look at the end of the URI path, you will notice that there is no API version indication whatsoever. So it's /API/something. The second version is the same, so /API/something. It means that our HTTP listener configuration do not contains any reference to version at all. We configure the version by changing the application name. We can achieve it easily by configuring CloudHub deployment Maven plugin in our pom.xml file. Demo time. Today I will show you how to configure your application to embed API version in the application name. First, we will start by creating new application. Then we will configure CloudHub deployment Maven plugin. Then we will deploy first version of our API, v1. Next, we will introduce some changes to API, and we will deploy the second version, v2, independently to the v1 version. So let's get started. Okay, I am already logged in on Anypoint platform, so we can start with creating API specification. Let's hit Create New button, then New API spec, type Portal eAPI, and let's confirm this with Create API spec button. I have already prepared very simple API, so I will paste it here. As you can see, it's just a single get method on customer's resource with a version specified to v1 in line 4. So let's publish this on Anypoint Exchange. Click Publish, Publish to Exchange, type default values, and Publish to Exchange. Once it will be published, we can go to API Manager to manage this API. Click Done and straight to API Manager. Click Manage API, then Manage API from Exchange. Look for Portal eAPI. Just select checkbox next to the mule version and click Save. This will create basic configuration with new Auto Discovery API ID. As we have this prepared in place, it's time to create new application. So open Anypoint Studio and create new project. I call it Portal eAPI. Now connect to dependencies and click Portal. Now you can find the dependency from Anypoint Exchange, which is our Portal eAPI. Click Finish, and our dependency will be collected and project scaffolded. Let's scroll down a bit. You can see our operation here with guest customer. I'll add here a simple transformation with a very simple payload, which is ID 5 and nickname Max the Mule. Plain and simple. Okay, let's go to HTTP listener configuration, and you can see that path does not contain version specifications, that's /API. We need now add a property file configuration, so let's look for configuration properties. Let's call it app.yaml and confirm with this with OK. And let's add now auto discovery. Yep, and click OK. Now you need to provide a main API flow name, which is Portal eAPI name, and here I will provide property name api.autodiscovery. We will fill this value based on the value that we received in the Anypoint platform. So let's hit save, and now I create new file. So click File, app.yaml, and finish. So API auto discovery property, and let's give this a value. So let's go back to Anypoint platform, click v1 link, we will be forwarded to details, and I copy this auto discovery ID and I put it here. Thanks to this, our application will connect to this configuration. Okay, so let's go right now to POM XML file. We need to configure our plugin to deploy application to CloudHub environment. So I have prepared a snippet already, so let me paste it. And you can see it's a Mule Maven plugin for deploying to CloudHub. You can see here specified Mule version, username, password to Anypoint platform account. Here is the application name, that it is compound of prefix, application name, and API version. And down below is the environment and properties, and a client ID, client secret of our Anypoint platform environment. You can take it from API Manager. Okay, here are properties that are needed to perform the action. First, I will change API runtime version. Then I put a CloudHub application name to my portal eAPI and prefix to my project. It can be whatever project you like. And of course, provide client ID, client secret of your endpoint platform account. And in line 18, we've got version first, which is V1. So let's hit save and click this, close this. Let's now deploy the application. Let's go to our portal IAP folder and call maven clean package deploy the mule deploy. Right now the application will be deployed to my endpoint platform account. As you can see, its name appears soon. There it is. It's my project portal eAPI v1. As you can see, version is embedded in the application name. So let's try this. Let's click this. We will see some details. You can see app URL. Let's copy this. I will put it in my Postman to make API call. So let's create new request. Let's call it customers v1. And let's paste the URI. And let's add API/customers, the default endpoint that we have modified. Click send. Voila, it worked. So we received response from the server. It's time to make some changes to our application. Let's go to Design Center and amend our API so that we will increase the major version to V2. Sorry. So let's add new endpoint. Let's go under customers and provide /ID, which is the resource identifier, and then /orders and simple get operation. Oops, the indentation is wrong. Let me quickly fix this. Remember that the YAML is indentation oriented. So let's change now version to V2, and we are ready to publish this to Exchange. So publish to Exchange. The new default values are pre-populated, so you can see 2 and V2 versions. So publish. In a moment on Endpoint Exchange, new version will be available. We need to go after this to API Manager to create new managed API. So let's click here, API Manager, and we need to click right now Manage API, like we did it before, Manage API from Exchange. So these are the same steps. We look for API, the default version is the newest one, we click this checkbox and save. Plain and simple. Okay, so we have new specification with new auto-discover ID. Remember, this is different per API version. So let's go back to our MuleSoft application. It's right now time to update the API specification. So click Manage API and you will find here new version to manage. So update version, apply and close. Right now what will happen, it will download updated version, and after confirming with yes, the application will be updated with new changes resulting from API specification. So we will find new endpoint there. So let's scroll down. We can see that our previous operation is in place. So right now let's modify this get customers ID orders. Let's move transform message component here, and let's provide very simple JSON message indicating that we are implemented this point. So let's give it the ID, order ID 1, and let's be the price of $50. Okay, so we've got very simple implementation. We need to do one more thing. We need to go to our application properties file and change this auto discover property. So let's go back to endpoint platform and let's copy this auto discovery ID. Okay, let's save this and close. One last thing, we need to go to POM XML file and we need to change API version, which is appended to our application name deployed to CloudHub. So it's time to try this out. Let's go back to our command line and type the same command, mvn clean package deploy. Right now we can see the previous version v1 on endpoint runtime manager. In a moment we should be surprised with new version running independently in parallel, so we can have see right now two versions deployed. Let's click the new one and let's copy this domain URI. We'll try this application out. So let's go to Postman and let's invoke the previous call. It works. So the previous application works. Let's call it customers v2. We will call the same endpoint, however, on version 2 of our API. So let's hit send. Wonderful. The outcome is as expected. So let's try new endpoint that we have prepared. Let's click add request and then customers orders v2. And let's paste the base URI /API /customers /1234 /orders and hit send. Great. So we've received the response from version 2. Let's check it out if this is also available on the previous version. So let's add request. Of course, we should not receive anything from the previous version. So let's try this. I'll quickly change to version 1 /API /customers. Let's say /1234 /orders. Let's hit send. And as expected, we've received 404, so resource not found, as expected. Let's go back to endpoint platform and to API manager. I wanted to show you that we've got right now two registered APIs, one for version v1 and one for version v2. It's time for summary. Remember to use semantic versions for your API. A semantic version consists of major, minor and patch parts. In your URIs, put only the major version, like v1, v2. You can use two approaches to version your APIs on CloudHub. You can put API version in the base path, which is configured in HTTP listener configuration. This approach is usually taken when only one major version of our application should run. You can put API version in application name. This is perfect case when you need multiple versions of the same API running independently. It's flexible in development and management. Last but not least, remember that auto discovery ID is different per major API version. Thanks for watching the video. Feel free to leave a comment and check out the links in the description. I encourage you to visit my website with personal blog ambassadorpatrick.com, where you can find more content. Cheers!